Hey guys, NatesLegend here. Just wanted to kind of start out the episode with a little bit of an update, little announcement, really. So one of my favorite things that we've done with the show is the interaction that I get with you guys, the comments, and being able to bring it up on the screen. Unfortunately, however, due to personal scheduling conflicts, my work schedule has changed, so we will no longer be able to do the show live. Everything from here out is going to be recorded, at least for the foreseeable future. We are working on trying to bring that back because again, it's one of my favorite things is talking with you guys. So bear with us for now. Recordings, I will figure out a way to get you guys comments and everything on the screen, but yeah, here we are. This is kind of where we're at. So bringing in our guests here now. I'll go ahead and just bring them both on the screen. Nothing too fancy. You know them. It's Jay and it's Doodles. So we got Scott and Jay back. You guys weren't here last week.
No.
Scheduling conflicts.
No.
Yeah.
I know. It hurt too because I wound up finishing early, and by the time I was done, I was like, it's already too late.
Oh, it happens, and we love having you guys on the show. But if you ever can't make it, don't you guys feel pressure? You have to be here.
Not to mention our guests that we had on the show last week did a phenomenal job, and I think the topic of choice fit right in the alley. And I'm sitting there yelling at the screen like, "Yo, this movie should not have been a game," and blah blah blah. And yeah, it was really good. I did watch the episode later on before it was taken away from me, but yeah, it was good.
What I want you guys to be, everybody to be feeling that same way, wanting to yell and talk to us and join the conversation. So I'm glad.
I wanted to so bad. I did.
We're just glad to have you guys back here now, and we should have a pretty good episode. I don't have an icebreaker for you guys today. Main reason for that is just kind of that big announcement that we have, the unfortunate news. Feel like that's a good icebreaker at this point, so we won't focus too much on it. We're just going to jump straight into our second topic of the day, kind of our minor thing here, but it is major at the same time, and that's Xbox. So recently this week, I know it's probably a little bit older news at this point. Oh, also, I should point out, speaking of older news, the news segment, we're going to figure something out with that, with bigger news, but that's going to have to be cut for a little bit. Bear with us. We'll figure out another way to get you guys your announcements as well. So anyway, but Xbox, they upped the price of gold and then later retracted. So Jay, what exactly happened there? Did you read the article? Did you see what happened?
I only skimmed through it, and I also watched a YouTuber by Young Yeah, where I get most of my news from on the internet, and when it involves video games. And he was saying that, the fact that Xbox actually raised the price and then retracted it just means that, oh, what in the world? They had a plan. Sorry, it was like a ant crawling in my mouth or something. They had a plan, and it backfired on them, and they were quick to retract that because they didn't want to lose player base and all this other good stuff, which was kind of a good move on Xbox, if I can say so myself. Yeah. And I think to keep the consumer happy, because you got to remember, we're in unprecedented times. And pandemic is real, and money is definitely not, it's not there for a lot of people. So when you pay, the yearly subscription and then told you have to pay an extra, $5 or so to add on to that, that's kind of a slap in the face, or actually have to pay for another one, because I don't know all the specifics of what happened, but all I do know is that would be a big slap in the face. Say if PlayStation did that without warning, that would totally agitate me. And not that I would leave PlayStation, because I still think they're the best console known to man, besides PC. Because PC's graphics are unbeatable. Right.
You can't compete with PCs and consoles are in different bubbles, though. They're different sports at this point. They do the same thing, but they're different sports at this point.
Well, it just reminds me of that song that came out like 5 years ago, where they're like, PC versus Xbox versus PlayStation, and you know, it's PlayStation and Xbox going back and forth. But then you hear everyone say, "What about PC?" And the both consoles like, "Fuck PC." Blah, blah, blah.
I think I remember that song now.
Yeah,
that's right.
But going back to the thing, I mean, from what I understand, with so you were saying they were going to make it so you had to have the subscription to play free-to-play games with your friends.
That's how it is.
What I was understanding.
Yeah, so basically the way that it's broken down, we'll kind of break down the entire scenario for you. So every other console, including PC, all have if it's free to play, it's free to play online with your friends or against other people. Xbox is the only one that didn't have that option. If in order to play these games, you had to have gold. So I think the biggest issue that people had was the price increase and that side of things. So I really think it's. But go ahead, Doodles.
Well, that being said, if it's a free to play game, I mean, you're expecting to be able to play with your friends. I didn't know that this was an ongoing thing. Like, as you can tell by the thing that's written somewhere, I'm going to get better at this. It's right there. So, as you can tell, I don't play a lot of Xbox, but I plan to in the future, and it's going to be fun. But if you're wanting to play a free-to-play game, you're expecting to play it. Like, that's just how it is. And I feel like everyone should be on board with that by now.
So, I agree with both of you, and to merge both of your points here, it really does come down to the "and" statement, right? If you raise the price and make it not free to play when it should be, that's where people start to have the issue. That's where you're going to start getting that pushback. If they had announced a price increase and the free to play is now free to play, you no longer need a gold subscription, I think people would have actually taken that a lot better than, well, you're already in hot water. Why are you making it worse? Why are you turning the heat up here? So it really comes down to that "and" statement. Either way, they retracted it. They actually rolled back the price, and they flipped the switch, which this does tell me it's just a flip of a switch. It was just them being greedy. They just turned off the gold for free to play games. So definitely screams.
Well, to me, free
more than choice, or choice more than
and free should be free. Period. It's called free to play for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we'll look past the loot boxes and the crates and the microtransactions when it comes to free to play games, but like just to play the game should be free.
And you know what? I actually thought they took a page out of EA's book on that too, but I'm glad they retracted it.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about like video games? You guys like video games?
I would hope we like video games.
Dude, I'm gonna get so much better at segues. You're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be so good.
Dude, I was sitting here playing my game before we got started.
So we were talking about Call of Duty is kind of where we're at. Fun fact for you guys: we haven't done a Call of Duty episode yet. I don't play a lot of it. But beyond that, they give me migraines, so I can't give you guys a good episode without fully understanding. So I got to do my research first. But we'll get you guys a Call of Duty episode.
I can, and that's with headaches.
You two are the experts, and I would just feel so out of place. But it gives me a migraine every time I touch that game. It doesn't matter the console. So,
dude, if you want to
use YouTube, it's what it comes down to.
Or if you want to like have a show where you're talking to me and Jay about Call of Duty. And then we're just talking about Call of Duty. And then I have 8 code reds, and that's 4. But I'm gonna do that twice. And I have 8 code reds, and we're gonna talk about Call of Duty.
44,
and I'm gonna be so about it. You know what?
44.
I don't even know.
I'm down to have 44 code reds.
However many code reds show up. Code reds.
Now I feel like I'm on an episode of Zombieland.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So that kind of wraps up the Xbox issues. I mean, there's a lot that goes on with it. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I don't necessarily agree with their idea to roll everything back. It almost felt a little bit much. Just learn to listen to what we're saying. We just wanted the free-to-play games to be free, I think is what most people's upset about. But everybody's going to always complain about a price increase. You can't just fold on that aspect just because. So
that's true. That is true.
That's, it is what it is. But moving on to our main topic of the evening, Mass Effect.
Yes.
Weak background isn't even showing through here, which is unfortunate. But yes,
it's
Mass
okay.
Effect.
I can
This
see
is your
face.
choice,
It's
Jay.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I absolutely love this game. This game is so great, and they really need to hurry it up and bring this shit out now, son.
All right, so here's where we stand with Mass Effect. Just so everybody's on the same page here. I wanted to play Mass Effect. I started to play Mass Effect. I tried to play Mass Effect, but when I tried to play Mass Effect, I had just got done playing Halo Reach. And I couldn't bounce. It was not a good segue, not a good segue. I needed a palate cleanser first, is what I should have done. I should have played something not sci-fi, but I couldn't do it. It was so different. I was so upset over Halo being over that I couldn't get into it. So our goal today with Mass Effect, I need you guys to explain to me what makes this game good, and I need you to convince me why I need to play it. Tell me why I should give this a second chance. All right?
First off, I'll tell you right now that is your icebreaker question right there. Okay.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
We'll just throw that in there. Here's a good reason why you should play it. Not only was it because it started out on Xbox and then worked its way to PS3. In the long run, because you still can't play the first Mass Effect on PlayStation, but you can play it on Xbox. So that's a plus if you're down with that big old bulky Xbox controller, which I'm not. Or you can play it on PS2, but you have to play Mass Effect 2 or 3. Reason why is because the storyline is too enticing. There's so much you can do in between that. You build your character up. I will tell you right now that they stole your glasses. My son's being a klepto. Anyways, he's the Shepard in general as a character. Whether you're playing as the female version of the character, still hot by the way, or if you're playing as the male version of the character, regardless of what character you play as, the storyline still stays the same, which is actually kind of cool. For those who didn't get a chance to play the first Mass Effect, when you jump into Mass Effect 2, it'll show everything that transpired in between all that, so you can kind of pick up where that left off and start your own story, which is what a lot of us had to do on PS2. PS3, not PS2, but PS3. That's kind of what we had to do. I have to say the voice actors, they got the guy that did the voice acting from the Navy as Shepard's boss, which was kind of dope. They had who's the guy who plays Chris Griffin on Family Guy?
Seth Green.
Seth Green is also a really great voice actor in this as well.
He's just great.
He's just
go ahead.
Off topic, but it is related. Andromeda, where they had oh man, I forgot. All right, you know what? I'm gonna research back to it later, but I'm gonna come back to it.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah, it'll come back to you. But regardless of how you look at it, the storyline is very, very enticing.
Okay, and so let's go ahead. I'll stop you there. Let's move into the story a little bit here. So the game released in 2007. There's so many games releasing in that era. So tell me about this story though. What makes this story so enticing?
It unfolds because it just, I guess it's kind of like, you know what the best storyline in Halo was?
I mean,
that's an actual question. What is the best storyline in Halo?
You guys aren't going to like the answer, but I like ODST. ODST is the best storyline in Halo, in my opinion.
And I didn't play it. Well, I can't say I didn't play it. I didn't own it, but I did play it.
Fair.
And I did watch a lot of the storyline. And I will agree with you. ODST is the best storyline for Halo. It's kind of like that when you have such a great way that they put everything together. BioWare did such a good job placing the characters, placing the actions, placing the fantasy of, okay, we're still Earthlings, but we're conflicting with Krogans. We're not conflicting with Krogans, or we have allies that are I forgot so many of the different races and species. But
cat, I believe it's the
cat exactly. The cat and Andromeda, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, back to Andromeda though. I remember now. Kumail Nanjiani is in Mass Effect. And he is my favorite. Oh my god! And he makes it so good. It's so good. If you don't want to play Mass Effect for any reason other than anything, listen to Kumail Nanjiani talk. It's great.
Not to mention, it hits you like a ton of bricks too when you hear his voice, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Okay, all right.
I know. I know that guy. I know that
guy. Though, it just this particular game kind of introduced. I don't want to say introduced. I mean, it's been around, but it's very famous for what happens in the game, what your choices affect the outcome of the game. Yeah. So how exactly does that work with this story? How does that play out?
Scott, you want to take this one, or do you want?
Let me get into this. Okay, so I didn't play any of these games, so I'm glad I'm answering this question. But the reason why I want to play them is the story and the choices that you have to make in order to continue. Most specifically, the one that I researched the most is probably the most infuriating for the fan base, and it is the Ultimate 4 choice. And this is the spoiler. And this is a spoiler, but it's an old one. So I mean, am I okay?
You know what? If it's past 3 years of the game, it's not a spoiler.
All right, so I'm good. I did say spoiler twice.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But just in case, we'll throw in a spoiler alert.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait one moment here. Let's get this across the... All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested in playing the game, please stop listening now. As we have spoilers, we will remove the ticker when the spoilers are over. Scott, go ahead.
So, the 4-choice decision. It's my favorite. I have my notes right here. Give me a second. So, the catalyst approaches Shepard, essentially, at the end of the game, and you are given the option. The catalyst is the consciousness behind the AI, which basically is influencing everything that's going on. The Reapers are doing a 50,000-year harvesting program, and it basically just means that no species is able to get synthetically advanced enough to destroy organic life. So the catalyst gives them 4 options. Option 1 is the red beam, and which actually, before I give them all away, you know what? I bring Jay back. I want to ask him something about this.
So, there we go. Jay has stepped away for just a few moments.
Never mind. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna
a second. No, you're all right.
All right. So, red beam. Option 1 is the red beam, which basically just destroys all the Reapers that are doing all the harvesting, and it also kills Shepard since he is now partially synthetic. Spoiler. Blue beam gives you the ability to control all Reapers. It destroys Shepard's body, but you become the consciousness of the catalyst.
I heard everything, and so far that is all true.
Yeah, and then you got your green beam, which is synthesis. Basically, it results in complete balance. Everyone is just synthetic, organic. It just basically everyone is harmony or whatever. And then D, I don't remember the flaw in that one, but I think there was one. D is change nothing and let the process continue as normal. The Dark Souls fan base would be saying keep the flame lit, as they say.
Yes, that would be absolutely true. And you got a choice to choose between being a Paragon and forgot what the other one was called. The dark side, technically, is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It goes towards your choices when you're evolving your character between the games. Are you going to be red or are you going to be blue? I was always blue because I always believed like I'm fighting not just for the human race, but I'm fighting for all races. So I'm not going to be a dick You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're fighting for life.
There are some instances where you kind of have to be a dick, depending on who the character is. But not all the time was I a dick. Maybe twice I was, but every other time I was the, happy-go-lucky, blue-collar, Captain America type of guy. You know what I mean? Like,
well, as long as everyone is nice to Camille Nanjiani, that's the important part.
I mean, when it comes to your attitude towards, how you treat people, it's gonna vary based off situation. We did miss a perfect segue though. You mentioned when it comes to between games, right? So these choices that you're making, they don't just affect this game. It bleeds into other games, right?
It's pick your cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by that, Scott? It's
pick your cliffhanger because you're gonna pick what happens, and then you don't get to experience it. It's
exactly.
We still don't know what happened with Shepard, as Jay has said to me several times now. We don't know what happened to Shepard or the crew.
But that happens in the third game.
Number two. So moving into number two, though, after you've kind of gone. Oh no, you're okay. You're okay. So once we get into number two, how did they better the game? How did they play into something so unique and so chaotic? And how do you actually transfer all of that into and keep the story the same while consistent with the choices made in number one? How do they accomplish that?
Two things. Okay. One, character development. For some of the characters from the first one were transferred over for the first to the second game. Okay.
Good. Okay.
And also two, the SSR Normandy was rebuilt and brought back, which is probably one of the most iconic ships other than the USS Enterprise.
We should have taken this banner down a long time ago. I'm so
Battlestar
sorry.
Galactica.
Woo! We're terrible at this game.
Because technically this is if you haven't played it, it's technically a spoiler.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Let's take off the spoilers then. Let's just talk about the broad spectrum of Mass Effect 2 then. Let's start there. Go ahead.
The rebirth of the SSR Normandy SR2. Oh my God, it was so much more better than the first Normandy. But the SR2 by far iconic. In a sense, I felt like, and I don't mean to be racist here, but I felt like I was playing like the black guy going against the man. Because technically you were working for the man. Like if you're playing the second game going forward, you're technically playing for the man. And he doesn't, I forgot what his fucking name is. God damn it. But anyways, like still in his
you ruined the entire show by not knowing his name.
It's because it's been such a long time since I played the game, but I can tell you in pure enthusiasm, because I have played and beat the game, both games that came out on PlayStation. And I'm working on, and actually as we speak, I'm working on the first one, just so I can understand the first one. Yeah. And I have to thank Xbox Gold for that one. But I want to be sure. I want to make sure that I understand the game the way it's supposed to be played out. And when you're playing through the second game, you're meeting Jack again. You're getting in fights with Krogan. You're messing around trying to figure out what this man is trying to accomplish, as he was the one who kind of rebirthed you to begin with. So I'm just like, you know what? It would be even more perfect to just sit here and say, hey, this game right here has a lot of potential in space character. And trust me, every character has a development phase. And that's what I loved so much about this game. Every character had their own backstory, and it was great. It was lovely because you got to get in depth on every single character that Shepard interacted with. Even his commander, even the boss, when they found out that he was alive, I thought was great. And it's just one of those things that just couldn't have been any better. 1 second.
All right. We'll go ahead and remove. Hey, it's just me. I'm the only one that hasn't played the game. I'm going to just randomly add one of them back just for the sake of it. Hey, there it is. And then we're going to remove him again. Why? Just because I can, because I have full control. And then I'm just going to go ahead and... Are you guys good? Like, I'm really just messing around. All right, you guys are good. Welcome back, boys. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
So, I mean, it's just the character development. Like, you actually feel like you are in the game. The way it's perceived when you're playing the game, it literally entices you that you are this character. This is a story about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that is the thing that I love about Mass Effect so much. Not to mention, every single year since the game has come out, November 7th of every single year is Mass Effect Day. It's N7 Day. You know what I mean? Like, it has such a great cult following, even that of Gears of War. And I know I'm bringing in another game, but Gears of War has... Yeah, Gears has its,
not in depth,
Gears
but
has its own day. And you know what I'm saying? N7 is literally Mass Effect Day. That's the day that you're... And actually, to be honest, it doesn't matter what Mass Effect you're playing. As long as you're playing Mass Effect on N7, you're okay with me. I got Andromeda off of Redbox and didn't even return it.
Sounds about right.
I have it sitting right over there. I'm looking dead at it for PS4. I got it out of a red box and didn't return it. I don't plan on it either. I took the thing off. I'm like, no, I'm keeping that shit. That shit is mine. But yeah, I absolutely love the series, especially too because you got to meet all of these characters. You got to, like I said, you felt like you were the character. So technically, when they say Shepard, they might as well be saying Jay. You know what I'm saying? They might as well be saying Nate or Scott. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it felt like in my experience of playing Mass Effect. And I totally enjoyed every single minute of it. I enjoyed.
The depth of it is what I was really impressed with. And even as where I'm at, where I only played Andromeda, the level that you can immerse yourself in this game as far as your choices, your interactions, who you like, who you don't like, where you want to end up with these people as your friends and, you know, your allies, you have so much room, and the characters have this depth to them as well, that where you want to learn their story, you want to learn more about where they're coming from, the struggles that they're facing, you want to help them. And that's what I really enjoyed about the series. It's more like, it's like Star Trek, the video game. Like that's why I like it. Because it's like
Star Trek Online, which I am also playing, which is also...
I need to play that. I need to check that out. Is it good?
It is good. I will say this, though. The graphics aren't all that there, but you got to remember, you're not just playing with PS4 players. You're playing with PC players. You're playing with Xbox players, too. So the graphics aren't all going to be there, but the storyline, if you followed the Next Generation, if you followed what is it, William Shatner's Kirk,
Kirk,
and so forth,
Star Wars,
it goes into all that. And you know what, if they brought back Knights of the Old Republic, KOTR, if they brought that back, which I heard through the rumor mill that they're bringing back a third one, but you know, that's after the whole EA Disney thing is done. But
and we could almost do a whole episode.
We could almost do a whole episode just on KOTR alone, and that's just KOTR 1. But you will definitely like Star Trek Online. If
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, that definitely feels like it's up Scott's wheelhouse, if I'm honest. It's one that MMO type.
Oh, yeah. I love me a game that I can lose my life in. Oh, man.
Yeah, it is definitely an MMO. And not to mention, it plays really great on the big screen if you're playing on the big screen. So
I'm going to have to now. All right. We're going to check out Mass Effect.
Yeah, it's
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. We were talking about this story.
I know I want to keep talking about Star Trek too, but I don't want to lose it.
I play a lot of video games.
So
I like
one
video
of the
games.
biggest things with Mass Effect 2 versus some of the others. Now that's the one that everybody talks about. So we go from this great Mass Effect 2 that everybody loves, and then we move into Mass Effect 3. Now there's no hate towards Mass Effect 3, but
There's a little bit of hate towards man.
there's no hate.
There's a little
bit of hate. All right, what's the hate? What's going on with Mass Effect 3 then? Where's the transition? Why is it worse?
Ask.
It is the reason why there's so much hate for Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
It all tails toward the end of the goddamn game. You cannot not make a fourth Mass Effect game and not explain what happened to the crew of the Normandy SR2. Yeah. What truly happened to Shepard's body? Like, is Shepard alive or is he dead? We don't know.
What happens if he becomes the catalyst?
Yeah, exactly.
What happens?
That was the next thing. What happens if he became the catalyst? Where does Andromeda fit in any of this? When we heard that there was a new Mass Effect game coming out, we were like,
it was assumed number 4. That's what everybody thought it was.
We were like, all right, cool. We're gonna get that SR2. We're gonna find out what happened to the crew. We're gonna rebuild the ship. We're gonna do everything. And then all of a sudden, literally, like overnight, it was like a kick to the balls.
Yeah,
it was
like the opposite of that is about to happen.
What is Andromeda? But you know what? We had to give Andromeda a chance. And as in true EA fashion, because this is around the time EA decided they wanted to do all their bullshit, we got EA'd. I'm just gonna say it like that. The graphics weren't really that good. The gameplay was kind of buggy. The story still on point with Mass Effect lore and everything that it needed to be, but as far as movements and actions go, it just wasn't there. And that's what we're missing in Andromeda. But going back to Mass Effect 3, those were the main things. We want to know what happened to the crew. That's why everyone is angry, because those are characters that not only did we develop over the first and second game, but also that we've grown to love ourselves, because that was our fucking crew.
Right.
I want to know what happened to our crew.
Based off how you've described it, this has been a game about us the entire time. It's never been about Shepard. I am Shepard at this point. So it makes sense that you want to know what comes next for yourself. I mean, can you imagine living in a rut all day, every day, where you can't go out, you can't do anything, you don't get to talk to people, you don't get to see people, you're just kind of stuck on a cliffhanger. Can you imagine a world like that?
That sounds like The Sopranos.
Yeah.
The black screen of The Sopranos. That's what it sounds like, dude.
Sounds like
exactly what it sounds like. And this with a movie.
Welcome to 2021, y'all, where 2020 never left us.
Right.
It's the hangout. We're friends now.
So back on track. We'll at least try to keep things.
I will say this
flowing.
Three did clear up a lot of things leading toward the part where we got angry. They cleared up where everything came from.
Yeah.
What was
kind of bringing everything full circle, not necessarily.
I can see what he had in his hand.
Oh, no, you're good.
It brought everything.
Secondary, please take care of your kid if you need to. Please.
Yeah. No, it did bring everything back full circle. The origins of how everything came to be as it was, and why these things were happening to different planets, universes, species, and so forth. You know, and so it did bring everything back full circle. But it's like right after that, that's when you got kicked in the fucking nuts, and it was like, oh god damn it! Like
just that gut wrenching one of.
It's just like, why did it have to end after that?
You know what? I can define it in a perfectly good scene. Ocean's 12. It's like I could have swear we thought, you know, we called it the Benedict job, not Ocean's 11. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was like, and it was like, son of a bitch. But I understand why they had to do it with the way they did it, because, like Scott said, cliffhanger like a mother. So that's why I was like, all right, you know what? I have to take a step back and I have to reevaluate how I truly feel about this game. I get, in my personal opinion, out of 10 J's, I had to give this a 7. And it was an honorable 7. A friend of mine wanted me to give it like a 4.5, but I couldn't give Mass Effect 3 a 4.5 because you got that closure as to why these things are happening.
Gotcha.
But then you don't know what happens to the characters, the development that you made with your crew. Do you get another game where you get to start anew? Which technically we did with Andromeda, but it just wasn't enough to feed the interest of what we were looking for from 3. And that's what we absolutely need, is closure of what happened on 3. And if we get that, I think we'll be solid.
Good. Right. Scott, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think what my saving grace with Andromeda is that I didn't play any of the previous games. I didn't know anything about Mass Effect or anything. It was my first one. And if you want to play Andromeda, I say do it, because it is a great entry point to the Mass Effect lore. And
as a matter of fact, I have to
agree with you. It is solid. You can get in depth, not just with the characters. You can get in depth with your choices. Like you can build your character. Like it's fun.
Out of curiosity, guys, because I do not know the answer to this question. Is this a very, especially with how you guys are talking about how your interactions with people and how you can treat people, is this a very open world type game, or is this just very linear story, stick to the story, no wandering off?
It's 50-50.
Okay.
It's a bit of both. Yeah, you have segments, but you can, for the most part, you can explore for hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you kind of explore, the more you kind of get more lore toward the game. It's like when you're playing Arkham City and you have to go inside Wonder Tower and get all the devil's heads and stuff like that, you know, for challenges and stuff like that. So there are some side things that you can do, but it just adds toward the lore or the origin of certain characters or certain species that you didn't know about, or materials or and stuff like that you would need. So honestly, it's like I said, it's 50-50. It really just depends on your play style. Do you want to continue to stick straight to the story and only to the story, or do you want to make sure you do everything to immerse yourself into the Mass Effect world? Because Earth is still a thing, but it just become technically the central hub of all the bullshit that's been going on and everything and why they're going there. You know what I mean? So it's 50-50. That's my honest answer on that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay.
I totally agree.
Is that something that has remained consistent throughout all of the games so far, or has it varied and have they restricted things as we've progressed through the story?
That's actually a great question. I feel like sometimes you feel like you're restricted. Like if you leave 3 and go to Andromeda is more of like the prequel to 1 and what happened with 1 going forward and so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? Before the Mass Effect engines go.
Prometheus type situation where it's the before.
Yeah, it's like Prometheus in a sense. It's kind of before. You know,
I think it's 2170 72.
Yeah, it's in the 70s.
And the Mass Effect technology was 2143 or 42 or something.
20 years from our current position.
But yeah, it's like it's coming from a different location, so it's the timing is messed up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So does Andromeda, for as much hate as there is, and you guys can kind of mention no, but with Andromeda, does that actually add to the story at this point in time? Whether not the direct Shepard story, but like, do you feel like it is at least setting up something bigger moving forward to where we needed that backstory? You know, we needed to play that game first, or is it just something they decided to take a completely different route and screw the audience?
Well, the way it seems is the original fan base didn't seem to be fully supportive of the turn with Andromeda because they wanted to know what happened with Shepard and Normandy, and that makes sense. But so the thing with that is it makes it difficult to fully build on a story from that perspective because you don't know if you have the support of your fan base. So that kind of brings us to where are we going to go with Mass Effect? What is the storyline that we're going to pursue? Are we going to pursue Andromeda and where are the relationships that Ryder was making with all of his crew, or are we going to go back to Shepard and find something out?
Right, and here's my thing with that too, and I'll close out my point with that too. I would like to see if BioWare is going to continue to stay at the helm of this project, or is EA going to completely overhaul it with another studio that has absolutely no clue what the fuck they're doing? Because we've seen that with other games not be so good. I mean, if you since we're talking BioWare and EA and stuff like that, we can talk like Need for Speed series. I'm a big fan of the Need for Speed series. I love playing every single Need for Speed that has ever come out. They're very fun. I like to customize the cars. And I even have a model car that is like my motivation to have here, which is Brian O'Connor's Nissan Stallion R34, you know, from the Fast and the Furious. But before I die, I plan to own this car. It's my motivation, and it sits on my desk here. But, you know, you get a chance to drive cars and stuff like that. Where DICE kind of messed up with that was they didn't listen to the constituents. They didn't listen to the people who were, you know, actually wanting to play the game. At one point, we had Porsches in the game, and we even had the prototype for the 918 Spider in the game, and they didn't add that. But when you bring it into full effect with Mass Effect, I want to know, is BioWare going to man this, or are they going to hand this off to somebody else? And is someone else going to try to reconcile what EA messed up? We see that, and it all comes down to the developer and the publishing company in which it comes from with this. And that's where Mass Effect 3 messed up.
Right. That does brings up kind of a few thoughts in my head concerning like Anthem and the whole mess that was Anthem.
Oh man, the Cataclysm, all that stuff. I didn't even play it. But
oh, you mean the game that I was waiting 2 years for based off of a 5-minute demo that I saw once, and it looked like the coolest game ever written, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome, and then it turned out to be not.
Also, hey,
I was like, I'm going to be Iron Man.
You were game sharing at the time you bought that. That's the only reason I got to play that game, because we were game sharing. I didn't spend a dime on it.
I was happy that I was going to be able to be Iron Man in real life, and then I'm glad that I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to anybody that spent their money on that. Sorry, doodles.
It's okay. I got a kick out of it. I got to fly in on Iron Man suit for 5 minutes and then get killed a bunch of times by aliens I didn't understand.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So moving forward, though, we have the Legendary Edition that should be coming out soon. They're saying the prediction is kind of March 12th is kind of the prediction right now. So we could get it sooner rather than later. I'm really looking forward to that. I think I'm going to hold off. I really want to play this game. And it's been, I think I own like 4 different copies of it for different consoles. But I think I would want the Legendary Edition. I think I would want to start from scratch with the updated graphics, get really into it, deep dive. So hopefully speaking, things will kind of pan out to where we can revisit this in, you know, March, April, potentially, whenever this game releases. I think you guys sold me, though. I think you guys sold me on the game. It sounds like one that that I can kind of pick my own pace to play, which is what I like. Sometimes I want to just wander around for a little bit. Sometimes I want to follow the story, you know? So I dig it.
I'll be honest. I will be completely honest. Before Batman, there was Commander Shepard. And that's in video game for me. That's all in video game. I played Shepard quite a bit, and I loved every minute of playing Shepard. But when it came down to when Batman came, I had to put Shepard on the back burner because Rocksteady did a great job with Arkham Asylum, and then to follow that up a year and a half, 2 years later with Arkham City, it was like they were coming out with a Batman game every year. And then they had Origins, which I still think Origins is a great game. But like I was
we'll cross the origins bridge.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But
we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
And
for
also,
me,
Batman
was Shepard. Go ahead, Scott.
And I'm still waiting for Skate 4.
You know what? Yes.
Make it happen. Come on, guys.
They brought back Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't they bring back Skate? I actually kind of like Skate a little bit more than Tony Hawk. But if you bring back Tony Hawk, where you could play as Wolverine and Spider-Man, and
that'd be cool.
That would be dope.
That'd be cool. All right, guys, we're off topic at this point in time. I think at this point it's safe to say we have covered all of the Mass Effect games. I think it's safe to call the episode and let's rank it. Where would you rank Mass Effect in your top list of games? Let's start with Jay.
DJ, I'm taking
and my list of games.
Your list of games. Where does it actually sit?
2.
Number 2. What's number 1 then?
Number 1 would have to be Batman.
There you go. All right, fantastic. Doodles, where are you sitting? Where would you rank your game in this list?
I would put Mass Effect just based off of Andromeda. I'm gonna put it. It's up there with some of my favorite games, but I'm putting it probably like 7.
7. All right.
If I had a top 10, Mass Effect Andromeda would make it to 7, just based off story alone.
The only reason we bring this up is just because Jay loves this game so much, and I wanted to make sure he had a chance to really show how much he loves it.
I really, really do.
I want to play 1 through 3. The Legendary Edition, does that have all of them?
I think the Legendary, and that's why I agree with Nate in wanting to wait for the Legendary Edition, because it might have Andromeda 1, 2, and 3. So if it does have that in the Legendary Edition, that'll be something worth collecting, because then he'll get an opportunity to get a chance to play all of them.
That'd be awesome. Hopefully they bring something like that. But
if you do decide to play, take your time with the game. You do not have to rush. This is a non-rush game. It's a game that you can take your time, understand the story, and see where you want your own character development to go.
Yep.
Exactly.
It'll be fun. It'll be good for you. Definitely check it out. Scott, let's go ahead and wrap everything up. Scott, where can our viewers find you? Where can they catch you?
Oh, I'm just on Twitch at Doodly-Doo and PSN at Doodly-Doo as well. So that's where I'm at.
Jay, next week
is
February.
Yeah, next week is February. I'm coming out with my show next week.
Your show.
My show will be live on Tuesday. It will be the first Tuesday of the year. I'll be filming it on Sunday. Right actually before the show. Or after. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet, but it's definitely coming back in full force. I'm looking forward to recording twice a week, so you'll see me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If not Tuesdays and Thursdays, then you'll definitely see more of my gameplay. So Let's Talk About It is definitely coming back. And there might be a little surprise in there, because I'm actually working on getting money together to donate to a charity, which actually involves button mashing. I was gonna say before we started that I will be raising money for children who are disabled that play video games, where they come out and make controllers and stuff like that for kids who have disabilities, who can't hold a controller, but they can use their eyes, they can use their feet and stuff like that to play video games. And I think that's so important to give back to the kids who actually want to play video games, and is a way of therapy for them. And I think and Bungie, the developer Bungie, started this a long time ago, and I'm just piggybacking off of them because I've donated every year I can, whenever that cause comes up. And now I'm thinking that for every other episode of gaming episode that I do, I think I'm going to start donating whenever I can. And I think it's important to give back, especially to those kids that are below the age of 13 or even that going above, with disabilities, stuff like that. it's such a cool thing, and I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm super excited to be back on the internet again.
Well, we're glad that that you're doing it. I really do think it's awesome, the entire channel that you're setting up there. So want to make sure you're able to plug that. Other than that, the only other plug that we really have is, of course, Patrick. Patrick, we love him so much. We had him on last week. Got to know how awesome he is. He does a lot with movies, so please, you should be watching it. This is his channel. Again, please make sure to be watching his stuff as well. So
you might even see me on there again. Who knows?
There you go. Exactly.
Visitor. I went from there to here. So
up there, just so you know where to find him. Again, it's at Pat B Reviews. We got PatrickBeattyReviews.com, and of course Gaggle of Geeks. Check it out. I am NatesLegend. From all of us here at Gaggle of Geeks, just keep on gaming.